Hi, everyone. Thank you all for coming. We're just going to start in a couple more minutes and wait for a couple more people to join in. Before we get started, I'd love to hear where everyone else is coming out from. I'm personally coming in from Vancouver, Canada, and I'd love to see your guys' chats to see where you're coming from. And also message in the chat what type of role that you're interested in applying for. I love the enthusiasm from everyone. So I think we'll get started at 5:33 PT. So just in one more minute. So we have a lot of people coming in from California. Oh, we have one person from Australia. What time zone is that right now? What time is it for you? Okay, great. So I think we can get started right now. So before we get into the presentation, I'd love to introduce FAANGPath. So FAANGPath is a group of individuals who provide high quality resume reviews from top 10 companies hiring perspectives. And their focus is to help people understand what it takes to get their resumes reviewed by top tech companies such as Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Google, Netflix, Microsoft, and so much more. So I'd love to introduce our speakers today. So first we have Chanchal, the founder of FAANGPath, and most recently the HR person at Amazon with over 10 years of experience as a recruiter. We also have Nikita, so the other founder of FAANGPath, and is currently working as a marketing manager in the leading e-commerce company with more than 5 years of digital marketing experience. We also have Anoop, who is currently working as a finance lead at Netflix, the previous PM at Uber, Booking.com, and Oracle. And fourth, we have Kartik, who is currently working as a senior commercial account manager at Tableau Software and has also worked as a consultant at Deloitte. And lastly, we have Puneet, and Puneet is currently a machine learning engineer at Apple, and he was previously a hiring manager at a Silicon Valley startup where he personally vetted over 1,000 resumes. So enough from me. I'd love for you guys to get started. If you guys want to get started, yeah.
Yeah, Chanchal, are you sharing the screen so that we can just start? Just give us like a couple of minutes. We're just sharing the presentation for today and we're just starting. Till Hi everyone. I think everyone can see my screen and I think I can go ahead and can start. Chanchal, over to you. I think you need to unmute yourself. Chanchal, are you there? Chanchal, we can't hear you. Can you?
Hello.
Yeah, now we can hear you. Please go ahead and start.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, please go ahead.
All right.
Yep.
Nikita, just a minute. I just want to ask you, are you sharing the screen or I'm sharing the screen?
No, I think you are already sharing it. I can see the screen.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, we can start.
All
Yeah,
right.
from the next. Yeah.
All right. Sorry about the technical mess.
Yep.
So, hello
Yeah.
everyone, and welcome for joining us tonight. I thank you all for being here, and I thank TechPod for giving us this opportunity. Thank you, Joseph and Vicky, for giving us the opportunity to guide the students to build the best version of resume so that they can be on the right career path. So today we are going to talk about how you can build the resume that can land you your dream job. Okay. So you will learn today that what comes in between your resume and the interview call from the company that you desire. How you can avail our services and how you can avail our excellent guidance and feedback to build an impressive resume. Please stay tuned in till the end of the presentation for the exclusive discount only for our TechPod participant, and the juice of our whole webinar is a Q&A session which we'll have at the end with our mentors. So let me go over the overview of what we are going to do today. How is the flow of our webinar going to be? So first we'll introduce about FAANGPath, introduce ourselves. Then I'll talk all about the resumes, the resume success stories, how we can help you build the best resume. And then in the end, we'll have a panel discussion and a Q&A session. So please stay tuned in till the end to ask all the questions to our panelists. Now, before we move ahead, let me introduce myself. I'm Chanchal, one of the founder member at FAANGPath. I have recently got an opportunity. I have been working in the HR domain since past 10 plus years. And recently we moved to California and got the opportunity to work at Amazon, where we did onboarding for almost 100 plus candidates every day. So having worked at Amazon, I have got a lot of experience with recruiting and hiring candidates. And so I can talk about the resumes a lot, and you'll hear from me later on. And this is all about me. I will invite Nikita to introduce herself and move this session forward. Nikita, over to you.
Hi everyone, myself Nikita. I'm currently working with Chanchal as co-founder on FAANGPath and also working as senior marketing analyst at a startup based out of Texas. I have stayed in Singapore for 5 years and worked with leading global media groups, namely Omnicom Media Group and WPP as senior data analyst. I have also been nominated twice in the data leader category for Women in IT Awards Asia. I love traveling and have traveled to 17 plus countries. Along with me and Chanchal, we have 3 of our FAANGPath mentors who will be participating in the Q&A session today. We have Kartik Hariharan, who is a manager at Tableau. Then we have Anushukla, who is a finance and tech product lead at Netflix. And finally, we have Kohil, who is a machine learning engineer at Apple. Now I invite Anushukla to share his journey to FAANG company. Over to you, Anoop.
Hello, everyone. It's an honor to be here on this panel of FAANGPath. Thank you, Nikita, for a quick introduction. A little bit more about me. I'm also based in Singapore, currently with Netflix, leading finance and tax product for Netflix, focusing on Asia Pacific region and beyond. Before Netflix, I was based in Amsterdam with Booking.com. I was into product management for billing. Before moving to Amsterdam, I was with Uber, again here in Singapore. I was doing product management on the payment side of the house. and then previous to Uber, I've worked with Oracle and some other consulting companies, mostly working on the finance and payment tech space. Happy to be here and looking forward to sharing more with you.
Now we would invite Kartik as our next speaker.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited and pumped to meet all of you. I mean, we've got such an amazing, diverse audience, and so is our panel today. I wish we all could meet in person, get to know each other better, and be able to do this together. However, the only thing that the pandemic has taught all of us is to leverage the virtual meetings to the fullest. So let's do it this way. Without further ado, let me introduce myself quickly. A lot of things, Nikita has spoken already, and it's there on the slide. My name is Kartik Hariharan. I currently work as a senior commercial account manager, Tableau at Salesforce. I know that's really long. That's a long job title for sure. So you might be wondering what exactly I do in my role. So I build and maintain relationships with esteemed organizations, which are my customers, mainly across healthcare and life sciences industries, sell them our products and services, and ensure they have all the right resources from Tableau and Salesforce side to be successful in their data and digital transformation. I have about 10 years of experience in enterprise sales and consulting. I've worked with fast-paced startups like Aspiring Minds to big companies like Deloitte, TCS, and now working for the global leaders in CRM and analytics. I have an MBA degree in sales and marketing. And across these phases and roles, I've been part of the hiring process, reviewed numerous resumes, hired folks, rejected. I mean, that's part and parcel. But I've been on the other side of the table too. I've also had to search for jobs frantically, faced interview rejections, made numerous resumes, reached out to friends, mentors for coaching, listened to many experts in similar workshops. And I feel that's given me a lot of good perspective, both on the interviewer as well as interviewee side. I'd like to share a small instance. I moved to US at the beginning of last year, quit my job in India. And you all know that was not the most ideal time to be in a new country without a job. The pandemic had begun, lockdowns were in place, and folks said, you did a mistake, should not have quit your job, should not have moved to a new country at this time, who's going to give you a sales job? But I always love to find opportunities in such challenges. And in a month of my job search, I was able to land 2 job offers from 2 of the world's best companies to work for. And there is nothing to brag about it. I'm saying because there are certain things which I did, and these could be the key takeaways for you guys today. I know we have Chanchal, Nikita, who are experts when it comes to resumes, and I've also been mentoring a lot of people. But there are a couple of things which I did myself and has helped me land a job in tech sales. So I would call out those. First, I'm a firm believer of this quote by Confucius: choose a job you love, and you will never have to work a day in your life. So be focused, and this is the best time to reflect. Think what kind of jobs interest you, where does your passion lie, what drives you, and always think, in a job, you should be able to give more than 100%. So first thing is choose a job that you want. Second, I would say is human skills. Human skills is really important. Attitude is key. You need to have that hunger, self-motivation, and the desire to succeed. Technology and people can be trained. So that's really easy. But you need to have those softer aspects, and you need to manifest those in your resumes or interviews, like how you have manifested this in your previous work experiences. That's number 2. Number 3, networking. Be fearless, to not be shy, and reach out to as many people as you can, the right people, because this is the time you need it more than ever. And the last and the most important thing, your resume. I always use this analogy with my friends, with my colleagues, like resumes are like movie trailers. You got to make your movie trailer so amazing that people are excited to watch the movie. And that's exactly what you got to do to your recruiters with your resume. Personalize your CVs according to your jobs, but be honest and real. And at the same time, you need to use the right keywords. I know that's what is the session about, but I would also say that's where the guidance from experienced professionals like Nikita, Chanchal, and team makes a huge difference. And lastly, tech sales is amazing fun. And if you are interested, that's where all the dollar lies. And in addition to the perks like travel, accommodation, the commissions, and meeting new people. Because I've been asked this a lot, like, does tech sales require a background in tech? No, absolutely not. Sales is all about persuasion, and if you're good at it, you're definitely going to get it. That's all I have to say. Talk to you more. Over to you, Nikita.
Thanks a lot, Kartik. I think everyone is super pumped after hearing you. I can see in the chat on the YouTube channel that people are so excited to hear you. So thanks a lot for that exciting introduction.
Thank
So
you so
now
much.
now I would like to tell you, everyone, the audience, more about FAANGPath. So history of FAANGPath, how we started. When I moved from Singapore to US, I noticed that people were posting everyday posts on LinkedIn around losing their jobs due to pandemic, where they were using the hashtag called open to work. They were changing their logo and with the same hashtag open to work, which actually made me realize that we should do something to help them. So I had a quick discussion with Chanchal. She told me that she on daily basis get various referral requests for Amazon, which everyone knows that it's one of the like fewer companies who's been hiring a lot even in COVID time. But even after her referral, they never used to get interview calls as their resumes were not good enough to get shortlisted, which made us realize the problem is real and we need to help these candidates. So our motive to start FAANGPath is to support the job aspirants to get placed at these companies they desire. By having them build an impressive resume, they get them that phone call from the recruiter and also land them an interview with the hiring manager. So initially, FAANGPath had like free services, and everything was given free. And like the problem which we faced with the free services that it was not taken seriously. There was lack of commitment. Then the FAANGPath came into existence, where we are offering raw resume reviews, LinkedIn makeovers, and other one-to-one mentorship services. We have our students from some of the like whom we have coached from some of the top tier universities in US, namely CMU, UPenn, Georgia Tech, etc. Now I would like to pass it to Chanchal to talk more about resume.
Thank you, Nikita. So I would like everyone to share about their dream company. What is the company that you desire to work in? I would like to see some of your dream companies. Can you please type in the chat box? So Nikita, can you share what they're sharing?
I can see awesome, like people are typing Google, Salesforce, Mercedes, Apple. Someone said still figuring out. You can take your time, no hurry. Fang, Microsoft, TechPod. Wow, awesome. Like
Awesome.
Joseph, can you see that someone is targeting your company? Then, okay, we have Amazon, Google, LinkedIn, Tesla. Wow. Okay. Twitter. Yeah, we have awesome
Great.
companies.
So I see that all of you are aspiring to get into the top-notch companies, right? Great. Keep that aspirations high. Now, what do you need to get into these top-notch companies? So let's talk about FANG, our FANGPath company. So by now, you all know that our company name is FANGPath, right? Now you must be thinking, oh, they cater only to FANG companies. This is not for me. So let me just clarify before we move ahead that we at FANGPath help you prepare top-notch resume for FANG companies, as the hiring bar in these companies is really very high. So once your resume is set for that, it is set for all the FANG Plus companies that include all big tech companies like Microsoft, LinkedIn, Snap, Uber, Airbnb, eBay, etc. All hot startups, like TikTok, Stripe, Niantic, DoorDash, Neuro, and top consulting and fintech companies. The common denominator in all these companies, the big companies that you'll see is high quality work, peers, and pay. Now, how does one get a job? Well, the answer is obvious, right? You submit your resume. So you submit your resume, it gets shortlisted, you get interviewed, and you pass the interview and get hired. So to get to this final stage, what is the most important tool for you to get that foot in the door? Yes, your resume. Your resume is that tool that gets your foot in the door. It talks all about your skills, experience, your qualification, etc. It can make the best first impression, and sometimes it can be the last. So think of it as your elevator pitch. As much time you have till the elevator runs, it has to impress the recruiter and hiring managers in just 8 to 30 seconds. So as everyone knows, that Amazon is one organization that has been hiring continuously, even during COVID times. So in the last 6 to 10 months, what I have seen is there is one job opening and we have 200 to 300 resumes coming in. And do you think that recruiters have time to see all that resumes? No. There is an ATS, an applicant tracking system, where we feed in the preset criteria that we are looking to hire on for a particular job. And according to that criteria, your resume gets shortlisted. And the top 10, 20 resumes that get shortlisted based on the skill set and the keywords that you put in, we get to see those resumes. So if your resume is not set right, you do not have the right keywords, they do not get to see the human eye. And during this pandemic time, all the job fairs are now virtual. There are virtual job conferences being held. And you do not get to meet and greet any recruiter or a hiring manager in person. So in this time, it becomes of utmost importance that you have a resume that really stands out. Now, you heard me telling about the applicant tracking system. So let me tell you in brief, what is this system? So applicant tracking system is commonly referred to as ATS. And for most of the Fortune 500 companies are using this ATS, an applicant tracking system, because they are so overloaded with resumes for each job that they need an automated robot to screen the resumes. And 98% of the candidates get filtered out by the screening system. All the screening happens based on the keywords that are put in that software to screen or filter out the resumes. So it is the system uses certain keywords that are relevant to that job. So if you are applying for a job without entering the keywords that they're looking in the job, your resume will never get shortlisted, even though you may possess the best of the skills or the experience for that job. So make sure that you do not have a one resume, like tailor resume that fits one size fits all kind of thing. You always tailor make your resume as per the job description. The goal of this ATS system is to narrow down the applicant pool to hire the best. Now, what happens when you submit your resume? So when you submit your resume, it is saved in the resume database or whichever. Now, what a company has a software database that stores all their resumes in, right? So when we get a certain job description from the hiring manager, what we do is you choose the skill set that the managers are looking for, the keyword that they need, and we put it for the automated screening in the applicant tracking system. And then the resumes get filtered out. So the resume gets stack ranked based on the criteria that match with your resume that I have put in or the recruiters put in. So those best top resumes that I get, maybe like 10, 20, the recruiters get, those resumes will be looked into. And out of those also, only few get to see the hiring manager. Why? Because some of the resumes are like made in such a way that you don't even feel like reading them. They are all like too much wordy, or the fonts are not good. So the recruiters don't feel like reading it. So they do not even get to see the human eye. It is just set aside. So make sure that the resume that you make is really the one that is easy to read, simple fonts, not too many designs or pictures put in your resume. So unless your application is one of the few chosen by the system, your resume will never see the real person. So let me go over some of the common mistakes that I have seen in the resume. As a recruiter, I've seen thousands of resumes. And when I see like some of the resumes, even though you may have the best of the skills you are bringing to the table, but if your resume is not readable, at one glance, it doesn't show the keywords that we are looking for, we just put it aside. So some resumes are so sloppy that you don't even feel like looking at them. And some are like, made in columns. Nobody reads the columns resume. Make the resume simple, one page to read, easy. And the font size, choose proper font size for your resume. So avoid writing, some of the resumes, they have so much description of the job that what impact you have made on the job is not shown on the resume. So that is why your resume gets set aside. So these are some of the common mistakes that we have seen in the resume. So let me just go quickly over the elements of a successful resume. For a resume to be seen by the human eyes and to get shortlisted, screened by the ATS system to pass through it, we have a template on Overleaf that we will share with you. You can download it. It is ATS approved, made by one of our mentors. So you can use our template freely to build that one-page resume that will pass through the ATS screening system. Now, what you need to put on your resume. First and foremost, make sure you have your right info. Your name is set right. you have the right contact information, your phone number, your email, and make sure you put in your LinkedIn profile, because nowadays recruiters, go on to LinkedIn and check your profile, and then they get interested in you and they give you that interview call. So make sure you have the right LinkedIn address over there. Then you put your objective. What are you looking for in the job? What is your objective to look for the job? And then summary. Summary could be like, if you have experience, then you summarize your experience, 2-3 years experience, put it in nice 2-3 lines and put it as a summary. Then skills, of course, these are very important, because that is how the recruiter or the hiring managers know what you're bringing to that job. What skills you have, are they relevant for the job that they're hiring for? So make sure you list all the skills that you gained in your work experience or your project work that you did in college. Put all that in your skill set. Then, of course, work experience. Now, in the work experience, you can list the job experience that you have gained. If you do not have job experience, then you can add your project work that you did in college. Or maybe you did some volunteer work, that can add value to the job. So please mention that in your resume. Then, of course, your education and certifications, which are of utmost important, because that is how you show your value to the job. That adds value to the job. Your degree that you bring, that you have that kind of knowledge to bring to that job, to do that job. So make sure you add your educational degree and your certification. So like some of the jobs require special certification, and they, you get added advantage if you have that certification to get hired for the job. So make sure you add your certifications. Awards and recognition and the other volunteer work may be not relevant to the job, is always optional, but you can definitely add that. If you have some great awards, it can be academic awards, athletic awards. So whatever awards you have, you can add that on your resume. Now I'll pass it on to Nikita to go over some of our case studies to show that how we coached and mentored our clients, to get the interview calls from the best of the companies. Over to you, Nikita.
Thank you, Chanchal. So now I would like to share some of our recent case studies, which can help you understand how we have transformed transformed the resume of our candidate who have taken our services and taken our mentor's help. So this is a case study where a recent grad student who was looking for a product manager role came to us. His before resume has like size 8 font, too much detail for every bullet, mostly consulting background, and not relevant to at all for the program manager roles. In short, resume was a mess. After the transformation and after taking the right guidance from our mentors, the candidate got multiple interview calls from some of the FAANG Plus companies, including Amazon, EY, and Allegheny County. And recently, they updated us that they are working full-time in Allegheny County. So they converted their interview and they started working. So after the transformation, their size increased from 8 to 11. There were a lot of optimized keywords which were added related to roles they were targeting. And they were only relevant details in the resume. And the resume kind of seeked a sleek, easy to format, and the resume portrayed in short excellence. So you can see, I know that because of some privacy issues, we can't show it like in detail, but this is the before and after where you can clearly see that resume previously was having too much details and it was not easy to read it. As Chanchal mentioned, it takes like 8 to 10 seconds to go through the resume and pass it to the hiring manager. So we make sure that the only relevant things are there, added the keyword so it passes the ATS. So I would like we help this candidate. I would like to also share in detail how we summarize and what was the summary and what we did before and what was the after. So we helped this candidate by writing a crisp summary, focusing on their program management experience and a strong impact they brought to a past organization, increasing 40% revenue. Now, looking at the before sentence, it just tells me that you did something, reached from point A to B, but does not give any details how you achieved and how the result made an impact. So we helped rewrite it to provide the details about the teams involved, what the growth percentage was, and how it improved productivity. This really helps understand the candidate's value and contribution. Finally, after working with the candidate through the several iterations, our team of program management mentors currently at Amazon and Microsoft help them paint a clear picture of their contributions. For example, the same line from before was rewritten with the focus on the candidate's leadership skills and a direct impact to 10% customer acquisition growth and an increase in productivity by 30%. Our work focused on excellence and bringing out the best in every candidate. In one of their line items, they had initially wrote that they implemented something, but it was not at all impactful. In fact, the whole resume had bullet points which lacked impact and did not help the reader and understand the candidate's value. Now I would like to tell you how FAANGPath can help you. So FAANGPath has several advantages, including we have the top tier industry experts working with us. Some of them are already there with us in this webinar. We can help you get highest number of callbacks. They are role-based model mentors, which means that if you're coming from a sales background, we will pass your resume to a sales expert mentor. If you're coming from a program or a product manager profile, then we will pass your resume to a program or product manager mentor. And I can see in the chat, a lot of people are from UX background. So we do have UX mentors. You can check it out on our website. Till now, we have reached 7,000 plus candidates already. 3,000, we have a Discord community, which is very active, and we have more than 3,000 plus people already there. You can join it. The link is there on our website. Then we already have till today 2 plus success stories, people who have gotten multiple job offers and multiple interview calls. We at FAANGPath have made the process extremely easy for both candidates and mentors. We have solved a problem on both sides of this spectrum. For candidates, we connect with the industry professionals who have relevant background. These mentors are product managers, financial advisors, sales executives, recruiters, and analysts who have years of experience in hiring qualified candidates. The mentorship via resume review is so valuable. On the other hand, mentors are able to help people that they are sure they can add value to. This is a unique model in the industry, and that's why we are best in class. Now I would like to share with you and show you a small video where we are showing an extensive feedback of 6 to 7 pages, which we generally share with the candidates after our review, and that is done by a FAANG mentor. So you can see in this video each division of your section wise. Chanchal, can you please play the video? You just have to click on the play button to start it. I think it's not working anyways. So because I think there are multiple screens and some technical issues, so I don't think, but it's available on our YouTube channel. If you go and see, it's clearly there, a video which is like 40 seconds, which exactly shows you what are the different things which we will be covering and how in depth we'll be sharing a review with you, which is coming directly from our FAANG mentor. Now moving on to the next slide. We have other services also which we cater on top of the resume. We do LinkedIn makeover, we do one-to-one mentorship, cover letter writing, mock interviews, and GitHub reviews. So if you want any other services and any other help in any of these services, more than happy to help. Now I would also like to share one of our recent success stories. Moon Kim. He was struggling to find a job when he came to us. He had some experience where he was working in a small company and nobody even knew the name of the company. When he came to us, he was unable to get any interview calls for the jobs he was applying for. We worked with him on his resume, and after 2 iterations, his resume started to shine. He got multiple interview calls from multiple FAANG companies, including Apple, Facebook, and many other small to medium companies. He decided to work at an early stage startup recently. He took the offer and now he's working full time in one of the early stage startup. He's so happy with our services. He wrote back to us that he can definitely see the improvement and he's more confident about applying to jobs with his new resume. Now, I also like to share some of our recent LinkedIn makeover testimonials where candidates are feeling so great and they can see 300% increase in the recruiters reaching out to them directly via their inbox in-mail messages. And they have replied back, and they have shared their stories that we are getting multiple interview calls from multiple FAANG companies. So now I think everyone must be waiting very excitedly for this particular time of the session. It's been like 25 or 30 minutes. So I would like to share with everyone today's discount offer that is especially for TechPod participants who are viewing our webinar today. For students especially, it's just $67 and it's valid till today, 12 a.m. PST. This is the link. I think someone will share it in the chat. It's really valuable. You can go and check it out. And people who are working professional, like full-time people, they can avail it. It's $89. So whoever is looking for the right guidance coming in from the FAANG mentors, like 3 of them are already there with us today, but who want to come in and take the help of any of these FAANG mentors specializing in your own field, please go check it out and avail it. And we are more than happy to help you in whatever way we can. Thank you. And if you want to connect with us offline, this is our website link. This is our Instagram page link. We have a Discord community where I am mentioned, which is very active. We are also available on LinkedIn. And again, I want to kind of mention that our discount is only available till 12 a.m. PST. Now moving on to Q&A session, I would like to invite all our panelists and speakers over to the stage again. And please write in your chat if you want to ask anything to any of the panelists. We are more than happy to answer. Can we add Puneet back to the stage? Puneet is here. Yeah, finally. Okay. Hi, Puneet. Before we go into Q&A, can you please quickly introduce yourself so that everyone is aware?
Yes, of course. I'm really excited to be here. And I've been talking to a few of the people on the YouTube chat while I was waiting for this. And so I'm currently a machine learning engineer at Apple. That's where I work full time. That's my day job. And I'm also mentoring with FAANGPath. And through FAANGPath, I'm obviously helping people with their resumes, LinkedIn, and so on. And in the chat, I've already talked to a couple people. Prior to working at Apple, I also have worked at a startup as a hiring manager, and there I was leading the computer vision and machine learning team. Prior to that, I've worked at other companies that you might have heard of, such as Amazon, DE Shaw, Barclays, etc. So I'm just really excited to be here, and I think I'll be kind of monitoring this panel, monitoring the YouTube chat, and surfacing good questions for our panelists. So if you guys have questions, keep putting them in the chat, and we'll try to get them answered from each of our panelists. Okay, so to start with, I think there was a very interesting question for Anoop, which someone asked is, how is working at Netflix, Anoop, compared to the other companies you worked for? I think Netflix is not a company we hear about a lot from like people who've worked there. So I think that there's just excitement on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for the question. I guess it was Josh. I was also looking at the comments on the YouTube link. So having worked for companies like Uber and Booking.com, wherein the culture is what is very important, and you're basically expected to exhibit the cultural values, the leadership principles every day in your work. And as much as I experienced, I got to embrace the leadership principles and unique cultural values and norms at Uber. When I joined Netflix, and Netflix has a very unusual culture, and I would highly encourage everybody to kind of go through the culture memos of the company they are targeting at. I guess so similar to Netflix, Amazon has its leadership principles. Uber has got its cultural norms, and other companies has their cultural values. So when it comes to the difference of working at Netflix than other companies, I think it's about the culture, and we deeply care about the culture. Whatever you read on the cultural memo, that's true. And I think one of the most important one is to get an opportunity to work with stunning colleagues and also retain only stunning colleagues, and the adequate performers are basically let go with the with adequate severance package. So I guess just this element of bringing your whole self to work, not once in a week, but every day, and also getting an opportunity to work with everybody who is following the same thing is something really exciting and exhilarating. At the same time, it's not always the rosy days wherein you're working on a project, or you're always meeting deadlines. There is always days and times wherein you do not perform well, but you're always given that chance, given that motivation, given that mentorship from your leaders, from your managers, from your peers, for you to get back. So I guess for me personally, the Netflix culture has been the most differentiating factor from other companies, and I simply love the culture, and I simply love bringing my whole self to work every single day, and always perform top of my abilities.
I can imagine, right? Because like if you don't, then you're shown the door. That's what you've said. In just quickly, like, describe Netflix and working at Netflix for yourself in like 3 words. What are the first 3 words that come to the top of your mind?
Absolutely. I think the first one is definitely, it's exhilarating, it's humbling, and of course it's a school day every day.
Very cool, very cool. All right, thanks Anoop, and then we'll follow up with more questions. But meanwhile, I want to bring Kartik back up front. Kartik, I mean, the energy was crazy. The chat went wild. Hearing your energy.
I was little too excited, I believe.
but there is an interesting question again from the same person in the audience. Is what kind of technical background do we need for a sales role in a company like yours? So you're at Salesforce. Obviously your sales is for technical products. So the idea is like, tell us more about how technical you need to be for this kind of a role.
I mean, that's an obvious question, and that's the reason, why I put that out up front. As I said already, like sales is more to do with persuasion. If you are good at it, yes, you are ready for the job. You do not require a tech background, to be honest. I have friends, and I am currently catering to healthcare and life sciences industry. I do not have any prior background to that. But I would say everybody, each one of us do sales in our day to day. Maybe your girlfriend wants to watch Bridgerton in Netflix, and you want to watch the Super Bowl match, and you try to convince and sell the idea like why watching the Super Bowl together is better than watching the Bridgerton. So that's sales in day to day. So each one of us do that. It's more about the persuasion skills and ability that is seen. Even in large tech companies, I called out that I got interview offers from two of the best companies. So even, in every company, you do not require a prior tech background, and I've been part of interviews here as well. So we do not look exactly for tech. Rather, it's more about attributes, whether you are a team player, how much you can build a relationship with organizations. That is what is seen more when it comes to tech. It's more about the personality traits than your background.
I see. And so, there's a lot of questions, obviously, since we talked about resumes. One thing that maybe no one brought this up explicitly, but there are some, related questions, is like we kind of hear a lot about, what you should put in your resume for like a engineering role, product management role, a design role. Like, there's a lot of available information online. We're also kind of, providing a lot of that information. But for sales roles, we don't often hear what is needed in a resume. Like, what can I show in my resume in order to stand out?
Got it. If people come from a background of sales, So when you are selling to other companies, it's B2B sales, which typically I do, but there is also B2C sales wherein you directly sell to the customers. So be it any kind of sales, and these days, with online being most prevalent, there is digital ad sales as well, like Google sales role, Google ad sales role, and other Amazon ad sales role. So these are all digital sales. So be it any kind of sales, if you have a background in sales, there are a couple of key parameters that if you put in your resume that shines out. I mean, one I would call sales cycle. That is how long it took you to convert a particular customer. Then there is terms like average order value, quota. What's been your quota? Like what was your target and what was your quota achievement in your earlier organization or role? And also the kind of industry that you focused on and the size of the accounts. When I say size of the accounts, it's more like your customer, if you are handling a customer like Apple for your company, so you need to mention that and you need to call out. And I know there are a lot of compliance issues. You cannot call out directly that it's Apple that you are handling or you are managing the relationship, but you could at least white label it and say it's one of the topmost smartphone manufacturer that was my account. So these things add up to your credibility that you have managed such a huge account and you've interacted with CXOs, CEOs out there in these companies. So this is for people with a sales background. For folks who have not had prior sales background and you're looking afresh, you could maybe call out instances wherein in your institutes or team where you have led a role, you have been in a leading role, how you have managed, or maybe you have been in a role where you have negotiated something. So these are certain things that you could call out and mention it in your resume. Does that answer, Puneet?
Yeah, that really answers. Thank you. I think anyone who's listening and hopefully wants to get into a sales role, this would be useful for them. And I also learned something by hearing that. So thank you so much.
Cool.
So, and then I'm seeing, in the chat, there's just a ton of questions about how to write specific things in your resume, such as, I think a lot of questions are around the statistics and how to, mention like percentage and data points in your resume. So I'll just tackle this question because I think I've been chatting with some people and I just have I have some insights. So generally, we do say follow the kind of XYZ approach, which is say you've done X, right, using Y. So like I'll give an example, but you did X, you used Y, and the impact of that was Z. So this is kind of how you want to structure your sentences in your resume. Now Z, which is the impact, is usually people recommend, and obviously we are also recommending, should be some sort of number or statistic. So for example, if you were doing sales, then it could simply be how many sales you made. It could be whatever metric that your numbers are based off of. But then there's also a lot of people here who are who did internships and are new in their careers and they don't have that exact statistic. So someone said they're a front-end engineer and don't know how to really quantify their work. So for this, we recommend being a little creative. And I think Amy rightly pointed out, what does it mean to be creative? So creativity comes in many formats here. So if you're a front-end engineer, for example, you've built this website, you've built the UI of it. And so you need to find anything that has a frame of reference, right? So it could be simply if there was an existing implementation, your implementation is more modular, or your implementation works faster, right? So if you go in Google Chrome and look at the loading time, maybe your front end loads 10% faster than whatever was there before. You have to come up with some point of reference and then compare to that. And another example for front-end engineering could be that the CSS you wrote is it works on multiple display sizes, whereas previously maybe it didn't. And even if you don't have anything to compare to, then maybe you can just simply say works on 10 different display sizes, right? So you don't need to compare anymore. You're just giving a number and saying, hey, this thing I did works on 10 screen sizes. And for internships, oftentimes, we're working on prototype projects or short-lived projects, which I understand it's very hard to judge the impact. Is oh, I just made this small thing. how do I, give numbers of how that impacted the company? Well, you don't again need to give how it impacted the company, but you can talk about how, your prototype was developed in a certain time frame, which is like the achievement in itself. Or you can say like in your prototype, you did like one specific thing that helped improve your prototype by a certain number. And again, I can't really give like specific examples without seeing or talking to people in the audience about what you've specifically done, but at least I'm trying to give you a framework here to think about how to make these sentences. Okay. And then again, there's a lot of questions. And Nikita, I know you've been monitoring the chat. So if there's anything that you want to like call out as a common question, feel free to.
Yep, I think there are few things where people are asking about interview part also. Like I just want to clarify and want to mention it here that we do provide one-to-one mock interviews as well as mentorship. So if anyone is looking for that, please do reach out to us and we can do that over resume part. That is also there. And also someone is asking that, do you know FAANG mentor working experience in health administration? So this is, I think, healthcare sector, I think they are talking about, if I'm not wrong. So I think we definitely know people and we have mentors working with us offline. Some of the mentors are not there listed on the website. So please share your resume and please share your profile. We are more than happy to pass your profile to the relevant mentors. So that is something which we can do for sure.
Okay.
And then I think we have some more questions which I wanted to kind of like someone was asking that do you give 100% guarantee? Puni, do you want to kind of give that if they go by resume process through us? What is the guarantee are we taking for their interview or for the success stories?
Oh, guarantees. I mean, nothing in life is guaranteed, right? Like somebody can tell you that they will, do blah, blah, blah and give you a guarantee, but there's no such thing as a guarantee. What Nikita or Chanchal, anyone can tell you is that there's a lot of success stories, and I've been involved with them and kind of hearing through even just Nikita's LinkedIn updates. It's so amazing to see like people reach out within days and say, hey, thanks for doing my resume. Like, here's the difference I see. And so it's all about, like there's no, again, guarantee, but the success stories speak for themselves.
Yep, definitely. They are asking, does the course do ATS checking also? Yep, we do that. We do have an ATS software which we use to pass your resume and also your LinkedIn profile. So if you're looking and that your resume matches at least 80 to 90%, that is something what we are looking. And I think you can definitely do that because that is our goal, that we want that once you apply online after our formation or transformation, then definitely you should start, like at least your ATS process should not be a problem for you anywhere.
Yeah. So there's some interesting questions from where did it go? There's this one question about like putting the objective statement in your resume. And I think the question is like, some recruiters pointed out that they don't like objectives, and another company's resume workshop also talked about that. So I'm going to give my insight on this and my opinion mostly because I've done hiring and I've like gone through hundreds of resumes, and so has everyone else on this panel. And then anyone else, feel free to jump in after I give my thoughts. So I think personally the objective and or the summary, either one, is pretty useful if you write it correctly. What happens is that many candidates end up like wasting that space, and then yes, like the insight that it's like a waste of time or you shouldn't have it is correct. But if you actually use that space to tell me in like 1 or 2 sentences what the purpose is of like your applying to this role and why, what you've done in your past experience and how that's relevant, like that's super useful. So I think Kartik brought up a good analogy that your resume is like a trailer of a movie. And so I always try to say like, we're in like 2020, 2021. This is like the TikTok era. So your summary is like your TikTok video if the resume is like a trailer. So, like if I have only like 30 seconds and I get a good idea of who you are in the first like 5 of those seconds, I'll be more likely to read the rest of your resume. And the main reason is because oftentimes most candidates that apply to a role are not qualified for that role. And so like that's just it just helps us like weed out candidates faster. So that's my opinion on why it should be there. But for I feel free to join in, anyone else. Maybe Chanchal, you have some thoughts.
So as a recruiter, yes, I would say that definitely, as Puneet rightly mentioned, that it gives a summary of what you have done. So definitely you should have the objective or summary. It just gives like, a gist of what you are. So the recruiter need not look at your whole resume. If that is impressive, you might get the call for the interview. So make sure you put your time in decide, thinking the right words to put in that objective or summary in your resume.
Yeah. Nice. Very good. Cool. I think there's only 2 minutes left is what the TechPod team is telling us. So I think there's one more interesting question that we'll answer before we wrap up is, and maybe Anoop, you want to answer this? I think you have an interesting answer for this one is, how would you answer kind of why do you want to work here? And the example Denise has pointed out is, other than saying because this is my dream company. How do I answer this question?
Yeah, absolutely. I guess Denise, that's a great question, and in my opinion, I think what I want to hear from the candidates is just be authentic to yourself, as in just tell the right reason. As in, if somebody says that I want to join Netflix because I love La Casa de Papel and I want to be part of the team, which basically brings in those kind of shows to Netflix and to the global audience. So I think just be authentic to yourself. There are a few things which I would probably do before kind of answering this question or looking at how to frame this answer, is that try to understand the company, and I'm again coming back to the cultural values, trying to understand the cultural values, trying to understand what are the areas where they are specializing in. If you're going to get an interview in a transportation tech company, be it Uber or Lyft, then just let them know that which areas are you really excited about, and also how do you think you are best fit to that. We are not looking for a perfect answer. We are just looking at whether you have done a proper research about the role, about the company, and whether you have kind of tried to map your skills to the vision of that company or the problems which they are working at. So I think as long as you are being authentic, as long as you are being true to yourself, as long as you have done your research and trying to present yourself in a way that hiring manager or recruiters, they are going to understand that yes, you can be useful, yes, you can contribute to the success of the company or the project. I think that's the best answer we can give.
Awesome. Thank you, Anoop. And so in the interest of time, unfortunately, we have to wrap up. And there's so many unanswered questions here that if you want to reach out to FAANGPath, Nikita, or even directly to me, Anoop, and maybe put us a LinkedIn request or something, we'd be happy to talk about that. But thank you so much for having us. We had a great time here. And I see that Janette is back, so we're going to let her take over.
Hi, thank you so much, everyone, for joining in today. We really do appreciate it. And again, I've just sent the link in the chat, so please be sure to check out this discount. It's a really great opportunity. And like Puneet said, you can find everybody on LinkedIn and you can add them. And I'm sure they'd love to answer your questions there and also check out their website. So I hope everyone has a great rest of their weekend. And thank you again for tuning in.
And thank you for this opportunity and collaborating with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.